Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. The bold and the beautiful spoilers tease that Poppy Nozawa must rebuild her life after finding out her daughter Luna Nozawa killed 2 people because she resented the way she was brought up. Yikes. Poppy is not going anywhere, we know this because she is in the credits. So if Bill Spencer chooses to not be with her, who will Peppermint Poppy find to keep her company? The answer may surprise you. Without Bill's handouts, Poppy needs to find a job. She is now living with her sister Finnegan following Luna's arrest. The night Luna was conceived was a nice moment for Bill and Poppy, but after everything that has gone down recently, their storybook romance is dead in the water. Luna made it look like Bill was her father via DNA test tampering. But now Bill has moved on. Sort of. He's trying to move on by reaching backward for Katie Logan, and their son Will Spencer is also pushing them to reunite. Let's face it, Bill and Poppy's love story was overblown. They shared one night, then he ghosted her. It's time for this lovely and talented woman to find someone who will treat her right. We can see Poppy hanging out at Il Giardino to drown her sorrow. The owner Deacon Sharp, seen Dominic, is a fair man, as shown by his willingness to hire down and out Tom Starr, who Luna later killed. Poppy might start spilling her story, and let's face it, she is attractive to men, based on her history. Deacon isn't a moneybags of the kind she likes, but one thing could lead to another, and he could offer her a job. Deacon is married to Sheila Sharp, who also works at the outdoor bistro, and how would she cotton to having a pretty woman working with Deacon? Poppy has shown herself to be a man-eater, and we don't think she would have any qualms about going after Deacon if meant securing a new lifestyle. Think about it. A love triangle between Sheila, Deacon, and Poppy would be a refreshing change of pace from the bridge and tridge triangles. In the dimly lit office of Il Giardino, Deacon Sharp stood behind the bar, wiping down glasses with the kind of focus that masked deeper thoughts. His life had been a whirlwind recently, caught between his responsibilities at the restaurant and the chaos that was Sheila Carter. Sheila, the woman who turned his life upside down with her reckless schemes, was back, and despite everything, he couldn't entirely shake her influence. She had an uncanny way of making him feel like she was his only option, even when he knew she was toxic. But tonight, something, or rather, someone, new was stirring in Deacon's world. Enter Poppy Crawford. The mysterious, stunning blonde had moved to Los Angeles a few weeks ago, and she wasted no time in making her presence known. Her entrance into the social scene was dramatic, to say the least. She was confident, alluring, and had a past that remained as elusive as her motives. Deacon had seen her around town, heard her name whispered in circles of power and wealth, but until that evening, they hadn't truly crossed paths. She entered Il Giardino like she owned the place, her red dress flowing behind her like a statement of intent. Heads turned, but she only had eyes for Deacon. Deacon Sharp, right? Poppy's voice was smooth, like silk draped over a razor's edge. He glanced up from the bar, his sharp eyes narrowing as he sized her up. There was something about her, something dangerous yet captivating. "That's me. Can I help you?" "I've heard things about you," she said, her lips curling into a smile that hinted at a hidden agenda. "You've got quite the reputation." Deacon chuckled, though it was more cautious than amused. "Depends on who you ask. So what brings someone like you to a place like this?" She leaned against the bar, her eyes locking onto his with an intensity that made him feel like he was being hunted. "I'm new in town, looking to get acquainted with the right people. And from what I hear, you're someone worth knowing." Deacon raised an eyebrow, unsure whether to be flattered or alarmed. "Is that so? And what exactly have you heard?" Poppy leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "I've heard you're the kind of man who can make things happen. The kind of man who knows how to survive in a city full of predators." His smirk faded, replaced by a more serious expression. "Surviving is one thing. Getting involved in the wrong kind of business is another. I don't know what you've been told, but I'm not looking for trouble." Poppy straightened up, her smile never faltering. "Good thing I'm not trouble then. At least, not for you." Before Deacon could respond, the door to the restaurant swung open with a bang, and there she was, Sheila Carter. Her presence was like a storm rolling in, and everyone in the room felt the tension spike. Deacon's jaw clench. Sheila had a way of turning even the calmest nights into chaos, and tonight was no exception. Sheila's eyes zeroed in on Deacon, then flicked to Poppy, sizing her up like a lioness sizing up a rival. Well, 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 who's the new flavor? Sheila's voice was sweet, but there was venom just beneath the surface. Poppy didn't even flinch. Instead, she turned to Sheila with an icy, unapologetic gaze. I'm Poppy, and you are. Sheila, Deacon cut in, stepping between the two women. This isn't the time or the place. Sheila's eyes flashed with anger. I can see what's going on here, Deacon. Don't think for a second I'm blind. Deacon shot Poppy a warning look, but she simply shrugged and took a sip of her drink. Seems like someone's a little possessive, she said with a smirk. Should I be worried? She's no one you need to worry about, Sheila snapped, stepping forward. But you need to worry about me if you think you're going to waltz in here and... Enough. Deacon's voice cut through the tension like a knife. Both of you, knock it off. Sheila, we need to talk. Poppy watched with amused interest as Deacon guided Sheila to the back of the restaurant. Sheila, though furious, went along with it, but not without throwing one last glare at Poppy. It was clear Sheila saw Poppy as a threat, and she wasn't wrong. In the back office, Deacon closed the door behind them, keeping his voice low but firm. What the hell are you doing, Sheila? You can't just barge in here like this. I'm not going to stand by and watch you get involved with someone like her. Sheila hissed, her eyes wild with jealousy. She's bad news, Deacon. Coming from you, that's rich, he shot back, running a hand through his hair. You don't own me, Sheila. You've got no right to come in here and act like this. Sheila's face twisted with frustration, her voice dropping to a desperate tone. You and I have been through too much for you to throw it away on some blonde bimbo who just showed up out of nowhere. Deacon sighed, feeling the weight of the situation pressing down on him. Sheila was dangerous, no doubt about it. But Poppy? There was something about her that intrigued him, something that pulled him in despite the warnings flashing in his mind. He wasn't sure who was the bigger threat, Sheila with her unpredictable nature, or Poppy with her hidden intentions. I'm not throwing anything away, Deacon said quietly, but you need to back off. Whatever this is between us, it can't keep going like this. Sheila's eyes softened for a brief moment, the fire in them dimming. Deacon, I care about you. I don't want to see you get hurt. But Deacon had heard it all before. Sheila's version of caring always seemed to lead to disaster. He shook his head, stepping back from her. I can take care of myself. Back in the restaurant, Poppy watched the door to the office, her lips curving into a sly smile. She knew Sheila would be a problem, but that didn't worry her. Deacon was her new target, and she was ready to play the game. As Sheila stormed out of the restaurant, her eyes burning with fury, Poppy raised her glass in a mock toast, her eyes gleaming with triumph. The game had only just begun. Poppy's arrival in Los Angeles set off a dangerous chain of events that neither Sheila nor Deacon were fully prepared for. In the world of the bold and the beautiful, alliances shifted like quicksand, and no one could predict where loyalties would lie. But one thing was certain. With Poppy in the mix, things were about to get a whole lot more complicated.